Welcome to this training session on identifying and resolving Mint incidents using ORD and POET. Let's start with a course overview. This course teaches you how to use OPUS reports and dashboards, ORD, to support your Mint reporting needs and to identify supply chain discrepancies. You'll see how Mint reports give you visibility into supply chain activity and how POET is used to resolve the discrepancies that show up across the supply chain. The simplest way to hold today's flow in your mind is with these 4 steps: detect, investigate, resolve, and close. First, we detect that something doesn't add up. Then we investigate it using a report. Then we resolve it by logging and working an incident. And finally, we close it with a correction in Mint and a complete audit trail. And here's the one idea I want you to carry through the whole session. Mint moves the data, ORD makes the discrepancy visible, and POET drives it to a resolution, all on one platform. Here's our agenda for the session. We'll open with an introduction, the 3 products and the scenario will follow. Then, in Spot the Problem, we'll detect a quantity mismatch using ORD. In Fix the Problem, we'll manage and resolve the supply incident in POET. And finally, in Close the Loop, we'll walk through the full end-to-end workflow, the resolution timeline, and the audit trail. Let's start with the introduction, the products, the players, and the problem we're going to solve together. Here's the scenario. Medivonic, an MEH, regularly issues purchase orders to their supplier Renderico, and they monitor data accuracy and quantity mismatches using Mint reports. In this scenario, a critical quantity mismatch gets flagged, and Medivonic uses POET to log it, track it, and resolve it quickly, so business keeps running without interruption. Keep this one customer-supplier relationship in mind. It's a single thread will follow from the moment the mismatch appears all the way to incident closure. Let's meet our 3 applications properly. First, Multi-Enterprise Information Network Tower, known as Mint. Mint is how companies exchange and monitor business transactions across the supply chain through secure configurable links between partners. Think of Mint as the pipes. It's what moves the PO, the acknowledgement, the ASN, and the invoice, and many more transactions between Medivonic and Renderico. Next, ORD, OPUS Reports and Dashboards. ORD gives you real-time reports and dashboards that help you identify transaction discrepancies and exceptions. If Mint is the pipes, ORD is the gauge on the wall that tells you something's wrong. And third, process orchestration for empowered teams, also known as POET. POET is structured work management you use to manage and resolve supply incidents with your trade partners. It's where the actual back and forth to fix the problem happens. And the key takeaway here: together, these 3 supports exception detection, investigation, collaboration, and closure, all within the OPUS ecosystem. To support our use case in this course, I've given myself these 3 roles. Manufacturing Customer Expanded grants access to external manufacturing transactions. Manufacturing Customer Reports and Dashboards and Mint Dashboard roles are required to view Mint's built-in reports and dashboards. ORD's Report User role is not required to access built-in Mint reports and dashboards. However, you do need Report User role if you wish to view reports and dashboards from within the ORD application. Now on to Spot the Problem. We're going to go from a raw transaction flow all the way to a flag discrepancy sitting in an ORD report. Let's try to analyze the business impact of this scenario. Medivonic ordered 100 units. Renderico shipped 80 units. That's what the ASN says. But the invoice that came in is for 100 units. So the ASN and the invoice don't match up. As a result, Medivonic risks overpaying for 20 units that were never actually shipped. The 20-unit shortage could delay downstream pharmaceutical production, and in pharma especially, an unresolved mismatch like this can carry regulatory and patient safety implications. Let's walk through the actual sequence of transactions step by step, the way Mint sees them. Step 1. Medivonic sends a purchase order for 100 units. Step 2. Renderico sends back a PO acknowledgement confirming 100 units. So far, everyone agrees on 100. Step 3. Renderico sends the ASN the advance ship notice, and it shows 80 units shipped. Step 4. Renderico sends the invoice, and the invoice is for 100 units. And that brings us to step 5. The ASN quantity of 80 does not equal the invoice quantity of 100. That's our exception. That's the thing that now needs to be logged and worked upon. The important point here is that the discrepancy actually lives in the Mint transaction data, but a person needs the ORD report to see it without comparing each transaction manually. Let's now take a look at how to navigate to Mint transactions in the system. In Opus, I'm going to go to My Networks, and we'll select the Mint External Manufacturing Orchestration. Then Go. We'll go to Manufacturing Customer and Purchase Orders. We're going to use this one as an example. Click on the hyperlink, and I'm going to scroll down to the line item section. Here we can see the PO is sent for a quantity of 100. Now let's navigate to Manufacturing Customer, Advanced Shipment Notices. I'm going to take this one as an example to view the ASN details. Again, scrolling down to the line item section, we notice the quantity here is for 80. Now let's go to Invoices. I'm going to open this invoice here. Again, scrolling down to the line item, we can see the net total amount equals 700, and the invoice quantity is 100. So this is where the mismatch is. ASN shows 80 units, and the invoice shows 100 units. Every day, you and your supplier must be exchanging a lot of transactions. ORD reports and dashboards really help to collect the relevant data from those transactions to make quick, informed decisions. We'll now see how ORD helps detect these mismatches. So if the data lives in Mint, where does ORD come in? ORD reports can be configured to work across all that related Mint transaction data. It acts as your visibility layer, the place where you can simply see that the ASN quantity and the invoice quantity don't match, without manually comparing each transaction yourself. The flow looks like this. ORD reports are built using Mint's business objects. Mint transaction data feeds into an ORD discrepancy report. That report flags the exception, and that flagged exception is what leads to incident handling in POET. The key point here is that ORD helps you consume the insight. It surfaces the exception for you, so you're not reconciling rows of transactions manually. There are 2 ways you can work with Mint-related ORD reports. TraceLink provides built-in reports inside the Mint UI. For external manufacturing orchestration, these appear under the Manufacturing Customer Reports menu item. To access this menu item, you need to have a role, which is Manufacturing Customer Reports and Dashboard. Access pre-created marketplace reports and dashboards in ORD UI. You can also create reports and dashboards from scratch. 2 roles available for ORD. Report Builder Creator allows you to create, configure, and manage query objects, reports, and dashboards. A report user allows you to only view reports and dashboards. I'm now going to show you how to identify the discrepancy in the ORD report inbuilt in Mint. In the Mint External Manufacturing Orchestration, I can see the Manufacturing Customer Reports. And this is the report I wish to look at. Quantity difference between the received invoice and received ASN. And this is what the report looks like. Here we can see the discrepancy. Now on to fixing the problem. This is where we create, work, and resolve the supplier incident in POET. Once we've identified the discrepancy, we create a supplier incident in POET. POET gives us a structured way to do 4 things: notify the supplier, capture their acknowledgement, track the corrective action, and maintain an audit trail the whole time. The incident moves through a set of workflow states. POET provides these base workflow states out of the box, and solution designers can extend them, adding substates, for example, review, approve, etc., to match how your organization works. I'm now going to show you how to create a direct supplier incident in POET. To do this, you go to My Networks and select the network. In our case, this is direct supplier incident. and go. We'll select New, enter a title. Optionally, you can add the description, and here you can change the business priority. It's set to medium as default. Then save. Then go to Edit and select the category, in this case, deviation events. Enter the incident date and the due date. And the due date. Then enter the description. Provide the assignee company. In our case, this is Renderico. And in the comment, you can add details about the reference transactions. Move the exception to do. Then save. Once the incident is submitted, the assigned company is notified promptly, allowing them to begin working the exception without delay. What you're seeing on screen is Poet's Marketplace solution, which has been saved as a company solution and associated with Poet's network and linked to the relevant partner, in this case Renderico. Keep in mind that solution designers can customize this solution to align with your company's specific requirements. We also offer dedicated learning paths for OSE and Poet individually, which go into greater depth on how each solution works. I'm now going to show you the partner view of a shared direct supplier incident in Poet. I'm now logged in as Renderico. Go to the main menu and Partner Networks. Select the correct network. In this case, this is the one we're using. And go. Here's the incident we've just created. Click into it and edit. Review the incident and provide the acknowledgement comments as necessary. Select under investigation from the move to below the in progress state, then save. Medivonic then gets timely notifications about the progress of the incident. Now here's something important to understand. The incident is tracked in Poet, but the actual correction happens back in Mint. Both the transaction correction and the incident closure are needed to complete the process. The sequence goes like this. The supplier acknowledges the incident in Poet. The supplier submits a corrected invoice in Mint. The buyer reviews that corrected invoice. The buyer approves it, and then the incident is closed in Poet. I'm now going to show you how to process a corrected invoice in Mint, verify the correction in ORD, then resolve and close the incident in Poet. First, I'm going to process a corrected invoice in Mint. I'm still logged in as Renderico. Select Partner Networks and Medivonic External Manufacturing Orchestration. Then go. In the side menu, I'm selecting Manufacturing Supplier Purchase Orders. Click into the purchase order. In the Purchase Orders Details page, click the Invoice button, then Apply. In the side menu, now navigate to Invoices. Here's the one we just created. Click on the hyperlink and select Edit. For the invoice date, I'll select today. I've now navigated to the line item section. Select the row and click on the edit icon and change the invoice quantity here. Then change the net price too. And apply. We'll now go up to the reference transaction section. Select the add icon. This adds a new reference row. Transaction type, ASN. Enter a transaction number and transaction date. Then apply. In the transaction information section, select submitted from the process status dropdown. Then move to submit and save. We now need to wait for the process to complete. We can now see that the status is sent. We're now going to verify the correction in ORD. Now I'm logged in as Medivonic. Go to My Networks. Select the Mint network. I've already got a tab open, so I'll use this one. Expand on the Reports section and select the correct report again. Quantity difference between the received invoice and received ASN in external manufacturing orchestration. This is what that report will now look like. Here we can see the changes made. And finally, I'm going to resolve and close the incident POET. I'm logged back in as Renderico. Once again, go to Partner Networks and select the incident network. I've got the tab already open, so I'll use this one. Go into Direct Supplier Incidents and click into the incident. Select Edit, and you can review the incident and provide the comments as necessary, and move the incident through the next state and finally close it. In this case, I'm not going to close the incident, but this is how the workflow works. Now to close the loop. Moving on to our final section, closing the loop. Let's pull the whole workflow together, look at the timeline, and land on the key takeaways. Here's the entire journey laid out across our 3 application solutions. Step 1, Mint processes the PO, POAX, the ASN, and the invoice, and the mismatch is sitting there in the data. Step 2, the ORD report shows that flag discrepancy to the Medivonic report user. Step 3, in POET, a supplier incident is submitted and Renderico is notified by email. Step 4, still in POET, Renderico acknowledges and commits to a correction. Step 5, back in Mint, the corrected invoice is submitted. Step 6, Medivonic approves the invoice, closes the incident, and the full audit trail is saved. That's the whole loop, and it all happens on one platform, Opus. If you'd like to go deep after today's session, we have a few resources available: the Mint Help Center, Report Builder Help Center, and the POET Help Center. On your Opus screen, locate the Help Center icon at the top right-hand corner. And as always, you can log on to Tracing University using tlu.tracelink.com to find more informative sessions. Thank you for your time today watching this training session. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to email tracinguniversity@tracelink.com.